here. Oh wow, they've changed a little bit of how we view things. But anyway,
Have they? No,
a little bit.
That's going to throw off the chi, man.
Is that gonna throw us off a little bit? But yeah, welcome.
We're live.
Nice. Let's just.
Oh no,
You listen to yourself,
I'm listening to myself.
Let's have a little look. Let's wait for a few people to join us. Yeah, if you are joining, as always, do drop a hello in the comments. Be interesting to see who's on the live today. Who's going to be first? Is it going to be Marky V? Let's have a little look. Who's going to be first? Is it going to be Anthony? Is it going to be Laura? Let's have a look. Yeah, drop in the comments if you've just joined us.
Who was first?
Some random guy. Had to get in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're not winning any free bucks.
Actually, I'm not first on my one. Oh, I am. Happy days.
Nice. Let's have a look who's on there. We got Hey David. We got Richard. How you doing, Rich? Amanda. Bri. Kilimanjaro experts. Wow, we got some Kilimanjaro experts on here. Awesome. We got David. We got Angus. We got Mark. And wait, there's a lot of Marks on today. Brilliant.
It's today. It marks a seminal day in our history.
Marks a very good Tuesday in the middle of the year.
Oh my god, the scrolling's all weird.
It is changed, isn't it? But we'll get used to it. Some of our tech that we're using is they've had a bit of an update. So the heat is on for this live. We got Andrew, we got Matthew Richardson. How you doing? You got Jim. How you doing, Jim? Others are mere copies. Is that what it is, Mark? There's only one Mark. Is there? I want to. There's going to be some fighty talk on the live today.
He's the only Marky V.
Yeah, he's the one and only Marky
I feel like you had to get in on the Tuesday Tune-In early to get like a Tuesday Tune-In nickname.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so maybe I'll dish some more out.
Stuart Taylor. Stuart, hope all is well, mate. Great to see you on as well. Today it's ironic because it has been quite warm, believe it or not, in the UK. A little bit wet, stormy the last week, but we wanted to chat about weather and heat, especially around turning up the heat, because there's a bit of a, even though in the UK at the moment it's not massively warm for our summers, but there is a little bit of a heat wave going on actually in Africa, well, North Africa to be specific.
I mean, if not last week, just at the tail end of the week before, it was like 45 degrees in Marrakesh.
Yeah.
So I was
pretty hot.
So thankful that I'm not trekking in that temperature because I don't like it. But it got us talking about it really, because we've been doing some exercise recently, getting prepared for some stuff that we've got going on at the end of the year. And it's been really hot. And, the sun, however amazing it is, it really does cheer me up. Sometimes can be my enemy.
It can, like, especially, if you run hot, like Dave, I know you run quite hot, and it does give you other challenges. Unfortunately, I think not to go too deep into it today, but with the world as it is at the moment, some parts of the world are going to get even hotter. Really today we wanted to talk about how we can manage the body, obviously when it's hot, but also at altitude, because when you're at altitude, the UV rays do penetrate. They have less kind of air to penetrate because you're so high up. Yeah. And the air is a little bit thinner. So you do feel the effects of the sun. And that it's kind of magnified really when you're up there.
I was literally reading something about it the other day, and they were talking about how, when you go to high altitude, particularly when you get to sort of, 5,000 meters, which is where we hang around a lot.
We'd like to hang around there sometimes.
The atmosphere is a lot thinner up there. So you're not getting as much protection from the atmosphere above your head as you are at sea level. Yeah. That means the UV that's cooking your skull is a lot more. I mean, sunburn.
Cooking your skull, that's a hell of a statement, mate.
I think it was
brilliant.
John Krakauer described
it.
If you read Into Thin Air, there is a section when he is trekking up towards Namche, I believe. Yeah. Or perhaps even higher. And he talks about how he got heat exhaustion. From the hot UV sort of cooking his head at the top in there. And something we all need to be careful of.
Be aware of.
I'm not getting any comments other than Pratesh.
Yeah, I think that's because everyone's listening.
So maybe I've lucked out. I'm the only one that's got Pratesh on here.
I think it's interesting because I can see where you are, because I can see all of the comments.
And then we've got even more by there.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
I think I might go back to nicknames today. We've got Crazy John Mackenzie.
Okay.
So he's Crazy John.
What about Pratesh? Hey, Pratesh, how you doing? And Anthony as well. Thanks for joining us. Couldn't connect today. My internet. Oh, Anthony, usually the first on as well.
Yeah.
No worries. Well, yeah, just for those people who have just joined us as well, we can see a few more joining us on the numbers. Yeah, we're going to be talking about heat and how to manage it.
Yeah.
And where to start on it, Dave? Because I think generally, I mean, obviously, there's the quick wins, which, you know, if anyone here, and I'm sure you have, been into the outdoors, you would have obviously used sun cream.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, like use sun cream. Sound like what's that song? Was it Sunscreen with Baz Luhrmann?
Yeah,
I love that song.
Yeah, that's old school. That's 1998 or 99.
Definitely 90s, isn't it? I love that song.
I'm going to go with
philosophical.
Do you know what? I might go with 97. No, 98.
98.
I'm going to go with 98.
Okay.
And if someone can tell me whether I'm right or wrong, that would be awesome. But no, yeah, it is important. And, you know, we say it all the time. I'm getting a bit bored of saying it, but knowledge dispels fear.
Yeah.
One of the things that is important before you go on these trips is to learn as much about it as you can and to understand that the UV is more powerful.
Yeah.
You know, I have and not just that if you go into an area that's covered in snow or ice, like a glacier, you do get a lot of reflection from the surface back up. Yeah. And I've got a picture of Andy from a skiing trip that we went that demonstrates just how
should have had it on here, actually.
Just how powerful that glare could be.
It was rather. I can see there's a lot of light coming from this side now, so it looks like I'm really pale on one side.
Yeah,
but it is very, very. Dave, I'm sure you'll be able to dig it out.
I'm going to dig it out now because that's worth looking at.
Because some people feel it more than others.
Exactly. I mean, that is just an example of, you know, you've got to look out for yourself, because if you're in an environment where you're going to be spending days and days and days on the snow, on the ice, in high altitude, that sun and the risk of sort of heat exhaustion, heat stroke at the severe end, could be quite severe.
That's damn right. Yeah, you got to look after yourself out there. I mean, geez, you know, I remember when I was kind of 19, 20 years old, and I used to do a lot of sea fishing with my dad, and we were talking about it the other day because we used to do it a lot down off Plymouth. Down in southern England, and I used to come back and I used to wear a hat, but every year I'd have this line going across my head. I'm sure it's not going to be great going forward in terms of my skin up there, but literally where I was working at the time, I think I was working in customer service a long time ago for Tesco's, and I come in with a bright red streak across my face. There was a lot of laughs.
You worked for Tesco's?
Yeah, admin, like basically.
I was going to say, I had no idea that you did that.
Yeah, mate. You know, there's every journey. There's certain parts to it that I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant. I learned a lot about customer service.
Fair enough.
Don't know, you know, if that helps everyone, but
we
you know, there's been some crazy jobs over the years, Jesus. But when it comes to sun, certainly I've had my fair share of sunburn. I remember when I lived in Thailand when I was teaching scuba diving, a little bit different to Tesco's. And I remember once I went out again fishing and took my shirt off, as you do, very warm, and literally the entire top half of my body was burned. So I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes to putting on sun cream, but at altitude it's a different story. And it, you know, again, we don't want to seem like we're kind of teaching people to suck eggs. You know, use it. It really helps. You know, make sure you're applying it multiple times. You know, that's the kind of quick win when you're at altitude, but also as well, you've bloody found it.
I found out, but it's really funny. I've slacked it to you because maybe you could bring it up.
Okay. Well, normally, I mean, you've got to be able to laugh at yourself in life, right? That's one of the big ones. And wow.
Hey, the amount of times that
this is awful.
The amount of pictures of me that have gone up that have been shocking. Mainly, I think Dave Rimington's fault.
Dave does like to. Well, I'm gonna bring this one in.
I tell you what,
and apologies to anyone out there, because it's normally this is kind of how you look around Halloween, but I'm gonna bring it in. And it's been a long day on the slopes. Now this is how not to do it. Yeah. Let's have a little look then at this guy. Wow, look at that. That is
like
beautiful, isn't it? Look at that.
That is like a beef tomato.
Like I think there was anyway, that, you know, we don't always look like that. No. And apologies, because like you said, it's not exactly Halloween, but you know, it's
that is a pumpkin though, isn't it?
That was slightly red on a ski day, and it just goes to show, when you're out there, you've got to look after your skin. Yeah. Even we all still make mistakes even now. Yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, that was amazing. I remember walking back into the room and it was just like this sun staring back at me. But it is important because when you're out on a trek and you know, I suffer a lot with overheating. Always have done ever since I can remember. I've always been the sweatiest person on any hike. And so I've always got to manage it. And one of the things that I've got quite a few like little fast track tips that I can give people that kind of help. One of them is bring spare base layer always in your day pack. Always handy if you're sweating a lot. Handy, always handy.
Where are you from?
Yeah, so it's
a long way, mate. From home.
I know. Yeah, it's always handy. You know, something like that always really does. You know, make a difference. Usually halfway through a hike, if it's really hot, I'll change my base layer just so I'm getting a lot of that like salt and stuff off me. Because there is a picture which we've shared before, haven't we, where you can when I overheated on the way to Mount
sharing pictures now.
Is that one on there?
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is, but it's okay. We could do show and tell another day.
Yeah.
But
it really does make a big difference getting all that salt kind of that's sitting on your in your top, like off your skin and stuff like that.
It's as if I prepared it earlier, Dave.
There it is. Yeah.
There he is, looking strong. I say Mount Toubkal.
I would say I had heat exhaustion there.
Well, I think we found out at the end.
Yeah, I was very unwell. That was a failed attempt. I mean, the thing is, it's obvious in retrospect, if you look at the state of that guy and think that there's no way he was going to reach the summit the next day.
Should bring it up again.
I mean, look, that's not a picture of a successful summiter, is it?
I don't know. I think you look battle hardened, but you know, it's
I suppose. Yeah,
sometimes you don't exactly arrive at the summit looking your.
I didn't
best.
arrive at the summit that day.
No, sorry, I pulled a knife out.
Yeah, exactly.
But, no, it's I mean, we're sharing these because I think the first thing we've all made mistakes when it comes to the sun, and trying to look after yourself and keeping hydrated, especially if you're someone that sweats a bit more than others. But this is part of the journey, and we everyone makes mistakes like this. I'm sure all of us have. But it's just maybe to keep it in the back of your mind that if you could put things in place next time, that can be the difference between get into the summit or get into somewhere like Everest Base Camp or not. Yeah. And these small things can make a massive difference.
Yeah, 100%.
Because we talk about sun cream, but then you've got things like your bucket hat that you like to wear or caps.
Signature.
Looking after your neck and your face, because they take a lot of battering at high altitude. And, we put it on all of our equipment lists, to take either a bucket hat or a cap, or even sometimes as well. And I think I will bring, whilst we're on the picture trail, I think, is this you? Let's have a look, Dave. Is this you? There he is. Look at that. See some familiar mountains in the background there, but you're wearing the schmack.
The shamak type thing. Yeah. No, always. Yeah. That's like the signature gear setup that I have.
It is, isn't it?
And weirdly, you might not know, but like all of that is kind of set up there to kind of help me with the overheating.
Okay.
I've got the cap on.
Walk us through it then, Dave.
So we'll start at the tip. I've got the cap. That is a cap by an outdoor brand called Filton, but you can't actually tell from there, but it's net all the way around the head.
Nice.
So I get the peak that keeps the sun off my eyes, but it also lets my head breathe.
Yeah.
The sunglasses, they're polarized and designed for high altitude and UV protection.
Yeah.
That shamak thing there is really good. It keeps the sun off the back of my neck.
Yeah.
Also, I'll dip it in water and then put it around my head and neck if I get really cold.
Yeah.
Also, the long sleeve, I always pretty much wear long sleeves. Part of the reason is I realized one time on a cycling trip that I was getting more burnt by having short sleeves on and actually keeping the sun off the surface of your skin.
Yeah.
Actually keeps you a bit cooler sometimes, and also stops me getting burnt. So yeah, that's
nice, Dave. Nice, looking cool there, mate. I mean, look at the background. I mean, look at the weather.
Yeah, Amet de Blam, Everest.
You see a bit of is that Everest or is that Lhotse? I think Everest is just hiding behind.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Khumbu cough. It's because I'm looking at the Khumbu. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely beautiful picture.
Amazing picture.
Trying to now get rid of you, Dave.
Yeah, that's fair. There we go. It's weird staring at him.
There we are. We're back. We're back. There we go.
But yeah, one of the things that is really, really interesting as well. Yes. And actually, I'm not entirely certain whether I got this idea off Mick Hamilton, who is an absolute,
hey Mick, how you doing?
Absolute legend. We've known Mick for a number of years now. He's done Island Peak.
Yeah.
Base Camp Toubkal. I think he lives on Pen y Fan because every time I go there, we bump into him. But he's given me two top tips, right? One of them was this stuff you can clean your clothes with. It's called Wash to Go or something.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm pretty certain he had a cool cool towel as well.
Okay.
It might not be Mick, but if it's not, he deserves the praise anyway.
Well, Mick's on here.
You dip. Oh, is he? Oh, hey, Mick.
He is. I know he hasn't been on for a few lives. It's good to see him back.
And basically, you get this it's like a towel.
Yeah.
You dip it in water, give it a rinse,
yeah.
and it stays cool to the touch for about 2 to 3 hours. And you can put it around your neck, on your head, and it really does do an amazing job of keeping your temperature low. One thing I really wish I had on that Tupacal trip where, I started to get like heat exhaustion. Was that, because it would have made a massive difference. But it
was Mick, and always followed by most important thing about the heat is hydration.
It is hydration. He's
different levels of hydration.
He's one of the most well hydrated men I've ever known. Also, Andrew Scott, 98 ain't old school. I was born in the 40s. Amazing.
Andrew, welcome, mate.
Still got that lust for adventure.
Still smashing it. I know. Andrew's been on here for ages, hasn't he, Andrew? Since the beginning of the Tuesday Tune-In back in 2020.
Yeah.
Back in those lovely days. Brilliant. Before as well, we go into a few more because we've had some questions before. Don't forget, as always, we're here to answer all your questions. It can be about heat and weather and ways to kind of keep cool, but obviously about anything. So definitely do it. And then you might be able to see as well, there's a little says, stay tuned for some awesome announcements. We've got a couple today.
Yeah, one each.
I know we got one each today. Isn't it mad? You'll definitely feel rewarded. And I think whilst everyone was on, we'll start with that because we've been wanting to kind of do this for years, really. And we've had numerous messages about it. People booking on, always asking about it. So I think we'll be sending more information after the live. But as you're on the Tuesday Tune-In, this is where it happens. This is where you hear things first. So I wanted to put it first. So I'll put it in the link there. I'll put the link in the comments. So essentially, what we're launching today, and this, if anyone's obviously been part of the last few months, there's been a lot of improvements on the booking systems and getting everything kind of set up. And what we're going to do as well, we're adding a little bit of it's basically like a widget to that, where it's called EverTrekker Rewards. So this gives people an opportunity because we get a lot of people who kind of talk and say, oh, you've got to come on these trips. And we wanted to reward you for that. There's a chance to obviously for you to earn money off future trips from referring people. So we've got some nifty little software that can, if you share this and get people to sign up, and then they become an EverTrekker, a customer, you do get some kickback in terms of discount off future trips. As well as that, every 100 referrals or once every 12 months, whichever comes first. So this is when we get 100 people who have been referred from someone else and then they book a trip with us. We're going to do a winner announcement of another free trip as well. That particular trip, we will kind of put up, whether that's Everest Base Camp, Machu Picchu, Kili, one of the other trips. But it's just something we really wanted to bring in. So I've put the sign up link. Certainly if you're a customer, if you're an EverTrekker, get involved, get signed up. We got a nifty little dashboard where you can count the number of people that you referred. And then it kind of automatically tracks that for you. Obviously we'll do our own check-in just to make sure that, when someone books in, it kind of goes back to you. So you get those referrals back. And it means that essentially, we wanted to reward all of our EverTrekkers for kind of talking about us, which is great because whenever we meet on training weekends, events, on trips, people are always like, "Oh yeah, I've been talking about you guys," or we've been talking about EverTrek, and now we want to give you an opportunity to thank you because we got an amazing community. It's over the last kind of 3-4 years, it's really grown a lot, and we're really proud of that. But this company would be nothing without you guys. So this is like a little something from us really to kind of give you a kind of reason to go and share it, which is cool, right? In this world of talking about people and word of mouth, and there's some nice little discounts in there for you. So essentially, for the first person you refer, I believe you get like £200 off your next trip, and then every other person you refer, you get another £100. And then after 5 referrals, so when you choose 5 other people, you kind of who refer and come back, You also get some goodies as well. So you get to choose either you get one of our awesome t-shirts, or you get to have one of our water bottles as well, one of our purified water to go bottles. So yeah, and that's unlimited as well. So you can keep going. It's not just 5. Obviously, if you keep doing it, you're going to earn enough to maybe pay for a free trip in the future, which is awesome, isn't it? We're really excited about launching
honestly,
it.
it's amazing. It's one of those things. We've benefited from you guys being such a strong and powerful part of the business. The community is amazing. It's really what drives us. It's what gives us our enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And there's so many times where people have said like, "Oh, I spoke to a mate. I spoke to my family. My friends want to do it." And we always want to try and build in like a reward for people that are loyal, have stayed with us, because we've been on this journey since way pre-lockdown, and we've grown through that. And I think that's in no small part to the power of everyone that's passionate about adventure, passionate about EverTrekkers. It's amazing. So yeah, I can't wait for people to get referring, and then because if it were me, I'd be like refer. I'd be like getting as many
people got to book on.
Like that's.
But it's something we wanted to give you some tools to help you do that.
Exactly.
Mick, how you doing?
Anuj is on
66 discount, of course.
Mick is at a stage now where he's like fallen into so many different brackets. It's like, what about this discount, this discount, this discount, this discount? But
well, Mick, get sharing, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Anuj, namaste. How's it going?
Hey, Anuj, how you doing?
It's always good to see.
He visited us a couple of weeks ago, didn't he?
Yeah, Anuj, you could actually come on camera, right? We could like beam you in. You don't have to be in the crowd. You could get on and talk and stuff.
Well, he was, if I remember right, I think this was back in the early days. He was the first summer doing the Tuesday tune-in.
Yeah.
Because we've done over 150 of these now, which is nuts.
Is that how many?
I know.
150
and
hours.
People are still here. Don't know what you're doing, guys. But no, thank you so much. But yeah, Anuj was on one, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. I think probably if not the first, like the second. It was up there,
wasn't it?
Anuj always says
back in the day
he's too shy to come on camera.
No,
Anuj says,
he's not.
He's not.
But no, so we've got Josh. How you doing, Josh? Can't wait to do Killy in September, your first big climb. Yeah, mate, Killy's awesome. It really is fantastic challenge. You'll love it. Just obviously we're talking about the heat in September. Yeah, it's kind of dry season. So it will be quite kind of there's always a risk of rain, whatever time of year you go on Killy. But hopefully you'll get decent weather up there.
Killy's a funny one because I've inhaled some water a minute ago, so I'm trying to push past it. Because the weather does kind of change. Like from the summit to I'm gonna talk like this all week. The last time when we did it,
Italian then.
From the summit to the day we arrived back in Moshi, was the biggest temperature differential I've ever experienced on a mountain.
It's nuts.
We went from something like minus 15 on the summit with wind. I mean, it's probably colder than that actually. I reckon. To plus 38. It was warm in like less than 24 hours. So it's he's all falling loads of bars. Sorry, it's these comments, they keep distracting, don't you? Especially when they're dry, you never know what it's going to be. But yeah, no, that was a big temperature differential. Exactly. So Killy's a funny one because you kind of have to prepare for all 4 seasons. Yeah, you're definitely going to get some rain showers. It's definitely going to be boiling hot. You're definitely going to be on the top pretty cold. So yeah, no, fascinating.
With no, it is honestly, Killy is epic, and Josh, you're gonna have a great time. I know we've got a lot of EverTrekkers over the next kind of 6 to 8 weeks going out to do Killy. We've already had, I'd say, almost a dozen groups now summit this year, so it's been fantastic. If not more, actually, I think it's been a great year for Killy summits. Touch wood, it's been absolutely fantastic. And we've got some EverTrekkers over in Pakistan at the moment as well. Yeah. On the way to K2 base camp. They've had some bad weather, but all going well. Yeah, no, K2 base camp. It's pretty much, this is the time of year when pretty much the whole sort of roster of trips are happening. So we've got people in South America, we've got people in Africa, we've got people in Asia. Yeah, it's a busy one. This is Europe. In Europe, it's going to be, it's really, it's a busy time. It's fantastic. But amazing to see so many EverTrekkers sending their pictures from the summit of Killy. We've got Nepal, which is kicking off in a few months as well. So we're going to get hundreds of base camp. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Sorry, Dave, before you do that as well, just something I want to bring in because a lot of people have been tagging us. but we certainly want to see more of EverTrekkers stories. So yeah, anyone that is on a trek or out there, don't forget to tag us. We always try and share in our stories or in the community. Definitely tag us. I've put our little handle there at EverTrek UK, just so yeah, you can give us a little tag and we can see what you're up to. It's always great to see EverTrekkers on trips. So
yeah,
if you are doing it, definitely. Whether you're putting on your main little boutans, getting ready to leave your camp, or whether you're on the summit, or whether you're having food in the tent, whatever you're doing, we'd like to see it all. Because I know other people who are due to go would love to see that.
Yeah.
And it's nice to kind of share that journey a little bit with you as well. Because we don't get to see every EverTrekker that goes on these journeys, and it's as you can imagine, a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes to make these kind of trips happen, and it's always great to kind of see part of your journey and share part of your journey as well. So yeah, get tagging us. Lovely to see you guys.
Awesome. Okay. So Pritesh has asked what would the temperatures be like at EBC in October. So again, because the EBC trek is it's an 11-day trek from starting at around 2.7 going up to a 5.5 if you get to the top of Kalapatar. So the temperature range changes quite a lot. It's one of them that every time I go there, I do to kind of pack for 4 seasons. I could tell you 2 things. It's definitely going to be quite warm in the lower altitudes, so certainly up towards Namche.
Yeah.
I can tell you it's going to go below 0 at night, and possibly below 0, when you're trekking. Thing with the Himalaya is it changes so radically. We've trekked in snow that's not been that cold. We've trekked on clear skies that have been freezing, like cloudy days that have been boiling. The Himalaya is very changeable. So what we always say with regards to that is trek for 4 seasons, pack for 4 seasons, because that's what you're going to be trekking in.
Yeah.
But the temperature is definitely below 0 at night and at high altitude, but definitely quite warm in the lower altitudes as well. It's kind of hard to give a temperature because it's so different every time we go there. But
October though is because you're coming out of summer, and you're kind of midway really between summer and winter. It's pretty warm in the day. I mean, shorts and t-shirt. But whilst we're talking about the heat, especially because you trek into EBC, you're very high up. You're majority of the time you're above 3,000 meters, except the first day, sort of the first day or so, and you've got to look after the skin. And if you're wearing shorts and you're wearing t-shirts, or as Dave said there are base layers where you can have long sleeve base layers. Obviously, you can roll them up, but certainly it helps you with the sun because it's strong out there. It really is. So look after yourself when you're up there, Pritesh. I'm sure you'll be fine. And don't forget to tag us. Looking forward to seeing the pictures.
Exactly. I mean, lightweight base layers that are designed for hot weather, they won't overheat you by having long ones on.
No, that's how they work, isn't it?
Exactly. They're designed to kind of move the sweat from your body to evaporate outwards. That's cooling.
Yeah.
Also, it stops you getting burned by the sun by having that protection. A lot of the summer base layers of they're like UV. I was say UV repellent then, but they're UV protective garments, so they do stop you getting burned. And that's one of the things I really hate. Is it happened to me one time where I burnt my neck on a trek, and I went then with having sunburn to arriving at base camp, and it was freezing and snowing, and it was just horrible, having that temperature extreme on your neck. So definitely tricky.
Yeah, great time as well. I mean, I think I've been at base camp twice in October. 3 times maybe. No, once in the November. Great time to trek to Everest Base Camp. Really is. Very popular time. Mark, how you doing, Mark? It's another Mark, not the Mark, but one of the Marks. Hey, Marky V. How good is the coffee? Here at EverTrek HQ or on trips. If we're talking about Nepal, there are some really good coffee places. In Kathmandu, you'll go to a little area called Boudhanath, near Boudhanath Stupa. And there's a cafe there called Himalayan Java. If you've heard of that make.
One in Namche as well.
One in Namche?
Yeah, one in Himalayan Java in Namche. Yeah, probably the most famous, I think, in Nepal.
Absolutely brilliant. There is one, my personal recommendation, anyone that's on the Everest Base Camp trek, the first day, so when you fly and you land at Lukla, you'll catch up with the rest of the team. You'll meet them at the lodge and catch up with all the porters, and you'll work out some of the kind of the beginning stuff with your guide, introduce you to some of his assistant guides. And then after you start the trek, after about an hour and a half, you reach a little settlement called Sheplung. And Shep Lung is really cool. I kind of accidentally stayed there once years ago, and for good reason, because they have amazing coffee. There's an amazing. I think we both swallowed water down the wrong way today. Usually it's the heat in here, not the water that's causing issues. But Shep Lung, if you can, they've got a little cafe there, and there's a little sign before you come into the village. Guides usually chill there just to break, and there's a little prayer wheel as you come into Shep Lung, so give that a little spin for good karma, and stop and have a coffee. It is really, really good. One of my favorite little places in the mountains. Shep Lung, really cool place.
Awesome.
Nice. Chris, how you doing, Chris? Nice to have a different name from Mark. Lots of Marks today. Here we go. So we got EBC, Gokyo, October. Do they also have midgies? Not really. I've never seen
never
bugs up there like that.
You don't get them a lot at high altitude, and also they need like water to kind of. So you'll find midgies and stuff like that around like water sources. It's all frozen up there, you know. So or it's like running rivers and stuff where they like still pools, I think, and stuff. So I've been there multiple times, never seen one at all. So in fact, I've never seen many mosquitoes at all in Nepal. Yeah, it's rare. Actually, maybe you will maybe lower down you will towards Ramachap. I think there was some. You do get randomly some of the in the Kathmandu Valley in kind of monsoon. You do get some. But certainly kind of higher up. Luckily you'll be midgie free. Which is kind of a polar opposite, because we've seen some nuts videos, crazy videos in Scotland lately, and it's like, wow, absolutely, literally full on nets, and there's people camping there, and it's just like black. It looks like it's kind of fog, but it's not. It's midgies. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely crazy. So David Mackenzie said, "Hi lads, hey, David. Will standard polarized sunglasses do for EBC, or would you recommend some wraparounds or side guarded?" So I've used standard ones. I actually do think that the side protection or wraparounds are really good. They're better because they do offer some protection here, and mainly from like things like glare and things like that. So the glasses that I use are Jublos, and they're really good. They've got a little bit of a removal side protection by here. Like, it's fine, you can get away without them, but if you're looking for a pair specifically to go to on a high altitude trip, you may as well get a pair with them, because they do work really well. Nice. Personal preference as well, like even between me and Dave, like my kind of style, I like wearing my wraparounds like these, and it'll cover kind of the sides a bit more as well. Well, Dave, you normally go for like similar to your glasses, they're kind of like front side, aren't they? They're kind of quite different styles. Pretty much. They work really well. Pretty much. You do have ones with side bits as well. Is it your Julbos? Julbo, they're the ones that I use when I go, like if I'm going on any glaciated terrain, especially. So on skiing trips, I'll use those. If I'm going to Everest Base Camp, I'll use those. At the top of Kilimanjaro, I'll use those. And it's just really handy, because sometimes you do get like reflections and stuff like that coming into the side. So nice. Jim as well. Any news on the Vamoose app or for Langtang? Yes, I believe it's all set up. Just looking at the team, I think they. Here we go. They're going to send over your login details. So Jim, we've got that itinerary and that actually set up now for you, mate. So get logging in. Get the countdown timer. Have a little look at that. There's some of the kind of relatively new trips that we've been working on. Langtang being one. Basically, we've been using the Vamoose app now for I think maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years almost. It's been fantastic. We get a lot of good kind of feedback from people about it. And it's really good. If you can definitely download that. There is, once you kind of sign up and book a trip with us, there's usually one of the emails you get will be how to get signed up to that and how to access your exact trip. Because you've got like countdown timers, you've got a bunch of information about your trip that we've kind of built out from it. We're hoping to create a little bit more of a different flow of how that works, but we've been working with our developers for our current booking system of how to integrate it too, because they're two separate things at the moment. So we've got our developers and Vamoose speaking to each other to kind of, tie that all together, which will make it a lot easier. So appreciate you bearing with us as well, Jim. I know it's been a little bit of time getting that sorted, but hopefully now, mate, you can enjoy the app and
yeah, thanks for bearing with us, mate, on that one.
Awesome.
And hope all is well. Lovely to see you out and about on socials as well, mate, as always.
Bri has come up with a good thing, which something we haven't
Okay.
touched on yet that's vitally important.
Yep.
Something I'm a little bit obsessed with when I'm trekking as well, which is that if you are a heavy sweater, if you do run hot, it is really important to replace all the sort of lost electrolytes and things that you've lost through sweating.
Yeah.
Generally, the way that I go about it is that I'll save my sort of electrolyte tablets and drinks for the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you need to drink quite a lot of water when you're trekking. So generally, if I'm having a good long day in sort of warm temperatures, I'll drink about 5 liters of water that day, just to keep drinking what I need to acclimatize well and to replace what I've lost. Generally, a liter before I start, 2 to 3 liters when I'm trekking, a couple of liters after I end. But the first liter of water that I drink at the end of a trek, I'll pop in probably 2 electrolyte tablets.
Nice.
Just to replace that. I have noticed a big difference. They do kind of work. So a lot of people say, oh, well, you might, like with Barocca or whatever, you'll pee most of it out. But actually, if you're just talking about straight electrolytes, they do make a big difference, because I have forgotten them on a trip before and noticed that, I start sweating more and I get tireder.
Yeah.
And my headaches come on a little bit quicker. So actually, if you keep replacing those electrolytes, you just start the next day giving your body the best chance that it has to kind of trek well, trek strong, and acclimatize.
Yeah, nice. It brings up a good point as well, because around heat and everything, the hydration and water intake is massive.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about building systems, like Dave said. When you're on a trek, you've kind of got a target and a goal of hitting a certain literage a day. And I know it sounds a bit boring, thinking, right, I'm going to hit 4 liters. That's a lot of bloody water to drink. Generally in day-to-day life. But when you're out there and it's hot, you'd be surprised you'll get through a lot. But like you said, if you can drink like a liter maybe before you leave, 2 liters when you're out, and then a liter when you're back, whilst in between that having teas or coffees and whatever else you want to drink, it all adds up.
Yeah.
But if that's all I try and break this down to simple terms. If all you had to do to get to the summit of Kili, as an example, was drink 4 liters of water a day and just walk, you'd do it, wouldn't you? It sounds a bit boring, but if you can just do those simple things, then the heat exhaustion and the lack of energy from not having enough water in your system, and the complications that can happen off the back of it. Sometimes you just got to break it down into simple bits like that. And then if the goal seems too big, break that down into more kind of manageable chunks and think, okay, 4 liters is too much. I know we've talked about the 1, the 2, and the 1. But even if you're like, cool, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll have maybe half a pint before breakfast, and just neck that back. Then you have breakfast. Then afterwards you have another couple of glasses of water before you leave. It's probably a liter right there, but it's in actual smaller pieces.
Yeah.
And that goes with any goal. But I know we're talking about hydration here. But sometimes you just got to break it down into smaller chunks, and it becomes far easier to hit those things.
Yeah.
I celebrate, something I used to do as well. If I hit my, because sometimes on a trek, I like to take like something from home that can perk me up, because there are times where you do feel a little bit down, and reward and celebrate is a big part of achieving goals. When you hit that 4 liters and get, like, for instance, I get a Snickers bar and I'm like, oh yeah, I've earned that chocolate now. I've earned that because I've done what I set out to achieve.
Yeah.
Then not only does it release some good chemicals because you've achieved, the dopamine because you feel happy, the endorphins because you've been walking out all day, your serotonin levels goes up even more, the happy drug, it's mad how it all kind of fits and works in.
Yeah.
When all you're trying to do is drink 4 liters of water.
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
The system is key, I think.
Yeah.
Also, what I've started doing as well is bring in little, like the squash. One, so like putting squash in my water bladder. It does stain the water bladder, and so I probably get through more of those water bladders than most people I know, but it does make a difference. It's so much easier. In fact, I noticed you for the first time ever when we were in Scotland, that day we did the 2 Munros.
Yeah.
Right at the very end, you had some of my water.
That's right.
And you were like, oh my God, it's so much easier to drink because it's just full of squad. Like, it's actually.
I know, because normally
You just straight water.
Straight water.
For me, I can't do it. But generally speaking, my routine is always the same. I want to get sort of 5 liters a day. So I'll have a liter before I start. I'll have a 3 liter water bladder. Now, the encouragement for me to get rid of that is that my pack gets lighter the longer the day goes on.
Yeah, that's good.
So I start trekking at my freshest with a heavy pack, and then the more I drink, the more it goes down. And then all I got to do then is have like, 1 more liter and some teas, and I'm pretty much there.
Nice.
You guessed me there.
I reckon we'll do the second announcement now, Dave.
Do you reckon we should do the second announcement?
Yeah, I'm going to pass.
So yeah,
I'm going to pass it over to you.
So yeah, another amazing Instagram giveaway from the team. These are like, something that, Rosie and I know Zach work very hard on, and it's literally just about giving back to our community again. So this one is, we've called it the Master the Mountains giveaway.
Nice.
It's an Instagram giveaway. So if you want to be part of it and in with a chance, then please go over to Instagram. At some point today, it's going to be put up. Essentially, what we're going to be giving away is a mountaineering consultation with the Altitude Center. They're really cool. We had a workshop with the guys from the Altitude Center. And their knowledge and understanding of like physiology and altitude and how the two work together, and it is amazing. So incredibly valuable if you're someone that aspires to go to the high regions of the world. We're also giving away a place on our training weekend, the Brecon training weekend in October with myself and Andy.
Can't wait.
That's head up by, we've got a team of amazing guides that actually, take the reins in terms of like getting us from A to B. Me and Andy are there. So it's kind of like a Tuesday tune in, but it lasts from Friday to Sunday.
You get bored of us by the end.
Yeah, exactly. So we've also given away a little EverTrek merch bundle as well, which includes one of our purifying water bottles from Water to Go. So please do keep an eye out on Instagram. It's going to go out later today. Master the Mountains giveaway. I think we're the only 2 people guaranteed not to win.
We'll see. No, I'm joking.
Not to get the giveaway. But
Master the Mountains, loving it.
But awesome. Brilliant. So please do check that, guys. Because there's that is a really, really one of the most valuable ones that we've given away.
Exactly. And I know it, obviously we're on Facebook right now when we do these lives. Been working out potentially about maybe, and we've toyed with this over the years about putting stuff on Instagram. And I know it seems quite frustrating going over to Instagram, but we've obviously done some competitions on Facebook and then some on Instagram. But really, our community is fantastic. Like, it's on the Tuesday tune in today. It's in our private Facebook group, which if you're not part of that yet, get in there. High Altitude EverTrekkers. And I know it feels like a pain going over to Insta, but we're trying to kind of grow across all of our, platforms and reach as many people as we can and grow the community. So it'd be really awesome if you can get over there and, join us on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, of course. It'd be fantastic, and I know the guys have worked really hard. There's some great prizes there. That's Master the Mountains. I love it.
That's one of my favorite ones because really what I think, it's awesome. I love getting free stuff. That's amazing. But ultimately, like, a rucksack doesn't actually help you get to the summit of any mountain. It's any bag will do. But what goes on between the ears is something that's really important, and you get that from that giveaway. So that's awesome.
Some great comments as well. And I'll some great questions here, and I think we'll smash through them as well. I'm gonna hey Victoria, how you doing? Who is Victoria Dunn, who's been on one of our training weekends. We enjoyed a drum roll and any break on EBC and a slow reveal about how much we drank versus how much we thought we drank. Never as much as you think. You know what? I love that. That is brilliant. You're right, because Marky V made a good shout there. The only issue I found with bladders, you can't tell how much you've drunk.
You can.
Really?
Yeah, it's just when none comes out, it's empty.
Yeah, but that's like a big gauge, Dave. We need.
Well, yeah, but that's the only way that I found that works is when you're sucking air, you've done 3 liters.
Wow, unbelievable. You know what though?
So the answer
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
See if we can design something that can tell you how much.
Well, if Marky V says to me like, "Oh man, how much have I drunk?" and I say, "Well, suck your bladder," and it's empty, I'll say 3 liters. If he says water, then my answer is not enough.
There we go. I think it's a really good.
It's a scientific approach.
Yeah.
He also says it's 45 degrees in Turkey where
Victoria.
She is at the minute.
Enjoy, mate. Enjoy. Make sure you're putting sun cream on.
You should come back to Wales, Victoria, where it's nice and cool. Actually, I think on our training weekend with Victoria, I think that was
probably near enough 45 degrees.
I can't remember which one, but I think it was the bacon one that was really hot.
Yes, yeah.
Because we did have one that was mega hot, and I think Vicky was on that one.
Sorry, Vicky. I think it was that one. It was Scorchio.
I had like a vacuum flask that I filled with ice cubes, and I saved it for my I'm not going to say least favorite part of the trek we do, but my least favorite part of the trek, which is that long Roman road. You know, it's just a long Roman road. Yeah. There was no breeze.
The long and winding road.
The sun bakes you, and I thought, I am going to have ice cubes.
It?
Yeah, I got really, that was it. Yeah, I got burned. I got burned. My legs were red. So much so, I think, that a member of the public came up when we were in the campsite and said, sorry, I just saw you walking across, and you seriously need some after sun.
Is that, see, even now, we still get burned, right? How do we, us Brits, we need to learn about this stuff. Really good though. Sam Weller, would you recommend visiting the altitude center? I've had my free consultation. I'm unsure if I should actually visit. Sorry guys. Yeah, Sam, honestly, the altitude center are really, really useful. Having been down there myself, having many EverTrekkers go down there, certainly it adds a lot of value, and it can give people a lot of confidence. So if it's within your budget, because I know some of these things cost money, and obviously visiting there, depending on where you're from, Sam, definitely worth a visit. I'd say, obviously, utilize those things. There's always the tried and tested of when it comes to acclimatization. There are things out there like climatization tents that you can hire, that you can essentially live in for a certain amount of time, and it helps you kind of pre-acclimatize. But we are sticklers for going back to the tried and tested, acclimatizing on trips. Drinking, we talk about water a lot. Drinking enough water, get your body in the best state possible before you arrive. That's not saying you need to be superhero fit. It helps. You don't need to be superhero fit because you're just walking on majority of these things, but it helps. It means it's more enjoyable. Look after your body as well. So kind of taper off your training before you get to it, maybe a week or two before you arrive, because you don't want to get any last minute injuries, right? That would be like really frustrating. Certainly when it comes to whether it's worth it or not, definitely worth it. Don't feel like you have to don't think it's a necessity, but if you've got the time and the budget, give it a go, and let us know you get on, because we've had a lot of EverTrekkers who've been there, and they swear by it in terms of going there, and it just gives them a little bit more confidence.
Exactly.
And we've been friends with the Altitude Center now for a number of years, and Sam and James and the rest of the guys there who kind of run the place are really cool guys. They know their stuff. They approach things from a scientific point of view, which is great. And it provides different insights into how your body reacts to altitude. But we know that there are, like, if we were, say, labeling 1,000 people, 1,000 EverTrekkers that have been to altitude with us, and there's a lot more. Probably I'd say less than 20 of them have been to the altitude center. Yeah. In terms of that, so it just gives you an idea of people of the numbers that go there. So it's quite low, but definitely give it a go if you've got the time and the money for it.
Can't harm.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had a question from Derek Ferguson. Do people manage with contact lenses at altitude?
Good question.
You'd rather wear contact lenses with sunglasses than prescription sun specs during Killy in October. So, as far as I'm aware, and I've not used them myself, absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. Yeah. It may be just worth having a chat with sort of a practitioner about whether or not there's any issues with like freezing, if like you're walking in sort of below zero temperatures, and also maybe the solution and stuff like that. But that might be worth something we could look into. But as far as I'm aware, I definitely know people that have been on treks and worn contact lenses. Yeah, what I'll always say, like always, is bring some of these anyway, just in case. And also, I think there's some of these, particularly on Killy, it's very dusty. Yeah. So one of the things that sunglasses actually do for you is that they stop a lot of the dust getting in your eyes, and they protect your eyes from like wind and dust and things like that. So personally, I like wearing these because they do perform, not these, but sunglasses, because they do provide a shield for your eyes as well. So that's why a lot of people wear goggles and things like that when they're in that environment. But so have a think about that, but it's definitely worth bringing regular glasses as well.
Yeah, definitely. Knowing I've trekked with quite a number of people who've worn contact lenses. And most of them take the ones, not the reusable ones, but the disposable ones that you can, if you're comfortable wearing them. definitely do some research on that. Maybe a little bit of Googling around contact lenses in cold conditions. But knowing people that have used them, even on Kili, Everest Base Camp, you're talking sub-zero temperatures, and they've been fine. I think they are designed a little bit to, they are quite robust. Some of the decent ones, but as Dave said, the tried and tested having glasses. Even like one of my golfing friends, also called Dave, he wears prescription sunglasses when he's playing. They're wraparounds, and obviously it protects his eyes as well. So they're not just obviously they provide the sight because you don't have to wear contact lenses, but they're also sunglasses as well. So maybe and again, I appreciate that's an extra expense because they're not cheap, those prescription sunglasses. Especially, it's frustrating. I mean, geez, the amount of scratches you've got when you're out and about and they just fall on the floor and you're thinking, if you spend £200 on those, it's like, oh my God. But, if you've got the budget for it, worth investing.
Or if you like run down like a hill and they fall off the back of your head and then you end up leaving them, which I think did happen to one of our friends, right?
One of our friends.
Yeah. Yeah, left his Oakleys on the hill.
Yeah, it was... Well, it was this was the day before Glencoe Challenge last year, and we decided to go up another hill. I say hill, it was not a Monroe, but it was a Corbett, I think, with Spud, one of our good friends from then. And me and Spud went up there, absolutely lashed down, and we wanted to get back to the car, so we ran down, and I went, oh no, it's my shades, and my shades had come off somewhere up the mountain. I didn't want to go back up there.
Was it your shades? Was it
my Sonny's?
I thought it was Spud's.
No, they're mine.
Oh, so somewhere up there's a set of Oakleys.
Somewhere.
Yeah, actually, Spud's got a very similar pair. Actually, I've seen since. Do
you think you went back up there?
Yeah, I would have.
Brilliant. Now Stuart as well spoke to Specsavers. Should have gone Specsavers, right? As I wear lenses, they say no issue wearing at altitude, but change more frequently. Use a spray to keep them moist. Yeah, thanks, Stuart. Yeah, good point. Keeping them moist. Because there's a lot of, when you're in the mountains, can be a lot of dust, especially on Kili, especially on the trails like Machu Picchu on the Inca Trail, on the Everest Base Camp route, anywhere really that's well trodden, can be quite dusty. So definitely take that into account when you're putting them on. Yeah, maybe save it to when you're in the lodge, when you've had a shower or a wash or something, or wet wipe. There's less dust around.
Yeah. Matthew said, we got any snapback hats for sale?
Ooh.
Actually, I don't even think I own one at the minute.
We do have on our, because we're working on adding more stuff to our EverTrekker merch store. And I'll definitely bring it up because we want to get more of them. Obviously, people want to wear, the T-shirts and we're sending a batch of T-shirts out this week, which is great. But the snapback hats, we realize are really powerful. Even the ones got Yeti on yours.
Mine says Yeti. Yeah,
you need to get some EverTrek ones.
Oh, well, I've had 2 EverTrek ones, I believe, in my lifetime.
Really?
One of them got
only 2.
As far as I'm aware, I had one that I took to Kili and it got destroyed in my luggage.
That's fair.
And then I found another one in the place where we keep all our hats, and I wore that same hat for. God, it must have been about 2 years.
Yeah.
And it got destroyed when we went and did some pottery classes.
Oh, I remember that.
And literally without thinking, I had pottery or like clay all over my hands and I got it stuck on the hat. I haven't had one since.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a link there we put to the store. I just brought it up on screen temporarily there. We'll be adding more stuff to that. So keep an eye on the merch store because we were using one company, but I think they've clearly struggled the last couple of years. Quality is not as good, so we're kind of in the midst of moving to a different kind of supplier to get better quality. Definitely kind of over the next couple of weeks, we'll let you know about that, Matthew, and you can go and get some new goodies. It still all works if everyone wanted to buy stuff, but we're just the other company that we're kind of moving to is just a bit more on it. If you want to wait a couple of weeks, it's all good.
Awesome.
Right, Dave, I know we're kind of slowly coming to the end. I say any last minute questions, guys, do throw them in. But just to kind of round things off, so I know we'll talk about the announcements first. Obviously, the EverTrekker rewards. Hopefully, everyone get signed up. We'll send an email out after this now, so everyone will have their own link, and you get your own little dashboard as well. And then we're working on putting that in the booking area on our website, so you don't have to go into it because it's kind of like a separate area. But there'll be a little widget. You'll be able to view that in the area over the coming weeks. But get signed up. We really want everyone to be part of that. It'd be fantastic.
Yep.
And obviously, as Dave said about the giveaway.
Yeah.
So
Which I memorized. The Master the Maintenance giveaway on Instagram. Yeah. So please do go over to Instagram. It's going to get put up today. That would be awesome.
Yeah, lovely. And about turning up the heat. It's hot out there in certain places. I know Vicky's in Turkey. We know North Africa. We got EverTrekkers out in Toubkal. It's hot. Marrakesh. I think it's just to kind of round that off. Really, is that wherever you go, do look after yourself. Especially in the mountains, because the UV rays are gonna hit you harder. So do cover your face with a hat. Do look after your skin. Wearing sun cream. Do hydrate. Maybe look at long sleeve base layers instead of the short sleeve ones. And just generally, look out for yourself when it's bloody hot.
Yeah,
which it is at the moment.
Yeah, no, vitally important because it can scupper some best laid plans, as I've experienced myself. Yeah, but Penny wants scratching at the door.
Penny's back.
But awesome. Yeah, and obviously any questions anyone wants to know, anyone wants any advice, just get in contact with us. Happy to help anytime. Lovely.
All right, guys. Well, have an awesome week. We're back next week. Whatever you're up to, stay cool. If it's any it's not that sunny out there today in Wales. It's a little bit of rain.
It's been a week of this in Wales.
This is our summer now, isn't it? We're used to it now.
I know. I'm going to go out there and get rained on.
Can't wait. But have an awesome week, whatever you're up to, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.